It began before dawn, early Sunday morning.
Yes? Get me Gulfport. Civil defense.
Yeah?
Wade? Bill Tilson, Mobile Weather Bureau.
Yes, Mr. Bill.
Hate to wake you, but Camille's changing course, turning north now, instead of east. Looks like she's gonna hit you right where you live.
Harrison County Civil Defense to Biloxi CD. Come back, please.
Yeah?
Julie?
Mobile Weather says it's coming. Wake everybody up.
For 3 days now, a new hurricane's been running loose along the southern coast. A lady called Camille, supposedly headed toward the Florida Panhandle, but like any lady, perfectly capable of changing her mind.
The 7 a.m. bulletin from the Weather Bureau. Camille, a small but extremely dangerous storm, is now shifting westward, moving towards the Mississippi coast. Small craft should seek safe harbor.
In Gulfport and Biloxi, the emergency operating centers already have been put on full alert by Wade and Julia Geis, a husband and wife team. Both local civil defense directors, Wade for Harrison County, which covers most of the Mississippi coastline, and Julie for Biloxi, its largest city. And civil defense workers and local police are going door to door in the low-lying areas, trying to rout the people out.
No, we're not getting out.
Well, then, would you give me the names of your next of kin?
Say, you're serious about this, aren't you?
Mister, I've never been more serious in my life.
Martha, let's pack up.
But we'll get up on the 3rd floor. The water won't get that high.
But if the first and second floor go, the third floor is coming down. Excuse me.
Hi, pal. Come in. Welcome to the hurricane party.
Most people take the advice to get out, and cars start streaming north. Early Sunday afternoon, Camille brushes past the mouth of the Mississippi. At first, she only blows a few shingles off the roofs. Then she begins ravaging the whole Louisiana Delta. Upriver, the levees are beginning to crumble under pressure of wind and water. Finally, at Buras, the levee breaks. Time to get out, north to New Orleans, and safety.
CD office to rescue White. Mail call on Sandy Hook Road at Henderson Point. 3 subjects trapped in automobile.
In Gulfport and Biloxi, half a dozen trained volunteer rescue teams in heavy-duty trucks and ducks are answering the first calls for help.
We need an ambulance at the Nickel School Shelter to pick up an expectant mother. Take her to the hospital.
It's 10 o'clock in Biloxi now. The wind is so strong one can hardly stand up in it. The rain is torrential. The streets are flooded. It promises to be a long, long night in Biloxi.
Already, one rescue truck's been swamped. Power poles are falling, live wires sizzling in the streets. Staying out now is suicide.
Rescue Blue and White, come home. All rescue units, come home.
At 11 o'clock, a huge tidal surge rises in front of the storm, 20 to 30 feet high. It sweeps inland with irresistible force, smashing boats, collapsing buildings, wrecking everything in its path. At midnight, the eye of the hurricane crosses east of Bay St. Louis, and winds of 200 miles an hour complete the destruction. Outside, in the wind and water, people are dying. But now there's nothing anyone can do. They called it the American Riviera, the loveliest beach in the South. Now, Hurricane winds seldom top 120 miles an hour. Camille's have reached 200, tornado intensity. But cutting a wider swath than any tornado that ever lived. From Biloxi to Bay St. Louis, everything's in shambles. Down the Delta, it's not much better. In Buras, where the levee broke, there were 6,000 homes. Now only 6 are fit to live in. Everything's flooded out. Even the graveyards are 6 feet under. Mississippi's losing on every count. Survivors are stumbling out of the shelters.
When we walked up the street and saw it level, we knew that whoever stayed would not be here.
It's bound to be in here somewhere because all these are the houses that came from in this vicinity. They're all right in here in this neighborhood. But mine was right there on the corner and I don't even see it. Yonder! That grave in yonder, that's my house.
Here lie the Richelieu apartments in Pass Christian, where some of the tenants refuse to get out.
But we'll get up on the 3rd floor. The water won't get that high.
Welcome to the hurricane party.
24 people decided to ride it out at the Richelieu. 23 died when the building collapsed. One youngster floated out a 3rd floor window on a mattress and lived. Camille sweeps on north through Mississippi, slows down. Then she turns east toward the Appalachians. And suddenly, torrential rains start falling, more than 27 inches in less than 6 hours. Flash floods are roaring down every hill and hollow, starting landslides, smashing houses, burying people in their sleep. In the morning, every river is in full flood. In Richmond, Governor Godwin put state civil defense in charge of all rescue and relief operations, backs them up with all the state's resources, beginning with the National Guard. The mountains tell the story. Every ravine scarred by landslide, every valley a mass of mud. And under the mud, the dead.
It just came down through this area just like an ocean wave, more or less. And these people right in here, they just didn't have a chance.
She asked me, I reckon a dozen or 2 times, if a little house was gone, when did it go? I told her it's been gone a long time. And
was anyone living in the house?
yes, and there was Oliver boy and his wife and 2 little children. The little children, they got drowned.
In Mississippi,
Yes, we need rescue units, but trained, self-contained rescue units. We can't feed them, we can't sleep them, and tell them to bring their own water.
help's a-comin'. Air Force 2 is bringing in the Vice President, Secretary Romney, and the head of the Office of Emergency Preparedness, George Lincoln, will have the job of coordinating all federal assistance to the stricken areas. John E. Davis, National Director of Civil Defense, flies in too to confer with Governor Williams. Mississippi, Louisiana, Virginia, and part of West Virginia have all been declared major disaster areas and will get all the help the government can give them. Food for the hungry, medical supplies, house trailers for the homeless. The monstrous job of cleanup's begun, and more than 8,000 military men are pitching in to help out. The homeless are being evacuated north. The sick and injured airlifted out. No one knows yet how many have died, or why they ignored the warnings and stayed behind.
Mister, I don't know why they stayed, but I know why I left. I kept this thing 200 miles behind me, and I'll do it again. I won't ever stay and wait to see what's going to happen.
This is my last time I'm going to sit down here. In the most stone, this is my last one.
Others mean to hang on.
Well, there's nothing else to do. This part of my house still there. So I have to go back. That's all we have. I have a blind husband, and that's our roots.
But there's one thing for sure. We'll rebuild. Yeah. We got a beautiful country down here. We'll make it beautiful again.
Nearly everyone along the beachfront has been wiped out. Their houses wrecked or vanished. But surprisingly, on every third or fourth lot, American flags are being planted, flying defiantly, maybe to tell the world, we aren't down yet. To some, it seems an almost impossible task.
I don't know if it'd ever be built back. So I think it'll just be like a dream to us. It'll never be the same.
But others know better.
We'll rebuild. Just build a little stronger. We got a beautiful country down here. We'll make it beautiful again.
All right, you've seen what happened. I saw it too when I flew in immediately after. But the shock on the scene is 1,000 times greater than it seems on the screen. Suddenly, it hits you, and it hurts. You realize the wreckage, the tragedies, and suffering are all real. Not just pictures in the evening newscast or headlines in the morning paper. And you also realize how much worse it would have been if a few dedicated people, like Weather Bureau, state and local officials, and these local civil defense directors, hadn't made thorough plans to meet this kind of disaster. Hundreds died because they refused to heed the warnings, but no one will ever know how many thousands were saved along the coast because there was adequate warning, because there were detailed evacuation plans, heavy-duty rescue teams trained by civil defense, ready to risk their lives in the storm, and enormous help after from scores of volunteer groups, thousands of military men, and coordinated government assistance. Hurricanes like Camille don't happen every day, but other disasters do. Fires, floods, tornadoes, several hundreds of them a year. I'm John Davis, National Director of Civil Defense, and that, of course, makes disaster my business. But it's your business, too, because someday it could happen to you. Remember, preparedness can save lives, and so can you, perhaps your own, by simply heeding the warnings.